Good morning. I did it again. I started the video without doing the sound check, and it's a good thing I stopped and went back and did it because it was gibberish. I don't know what makes it do that. Anyway, for those of you that care, good morning. I did get a little bit of sleep, not very much yesterday. My mind and my feelings or emotions are really all over the place in anticipation of things that lie ahead of us. I'm supposed to be living in the present, right? Well, I'm really in the present. I am contemplating potential futures. And the title that I've selected for today's video is What If Nothing Changes? Tonight, some of my friends will gather here to discuss the exoteric changes that must occur in society if we are to ever have the thrill of changing society for the better. I don't really know what others will say, but I, for one, realize that unless the financial, judicial, governmental system changes dramatically, nothing else really matters. One man said he was told it will be 20 to 25 years before we see real change. A good number of people predict slow or no change at all. Where did I go? Believing the criminal cabal and their shadow governments running human society are too entrenched to give way to the positive change many of us want to see. Many will be very disappointed and worse if the long-promised help in leveling the playing field and reversing the insanity does not come. I know what I want for Christmas, to be able to live at peace in a world that finally works for everyone, everywhere, which is not how it has been. And I forgot a word when I typed that. Okay, let me just put it in. Playing field. I didn't put field in. Wow. Anyway, let me just do this here and save it. All right, we're done with that part. I don't know what makes me skip words sometimes, but I do. These things have been heavy on my heart and mind for the past couple of days anyway. I didn't sleep at all during the night, not at all, zero, the night before last. And this morning I managed about 3 hours of sleep, and I did maybe manage an hour of sleep early in the evening yesterday before a phone call awakened me, and then I couldn't fall back to sleep. That was in the early evening. Anyway, lots of anticipation of this big event. I watched several. I've been watching getting a lot of information on what other people are saying, what they're feeling is going to happen. I listened to Laura Eisenhower's video again yesterday, and actually another video entirely of hers. She has several videos, and boy, she inspires me. I've listened to some of her stuff before, but at this point in time, it's just what I need. That's probably the most inspirational. And then the talk that I shared yesterday on the video, for those of you that didn't watch it, I encourage you to get a chance to watch it. She really lifts my spirits, I'll tell you, although not to the point where I think it doesn't matter. And that's what's wrong, I think, with the world, is so many people think it doesn't matter. And I get emails from people like the friend who said he was told from somebody, I don't remember who he said it, told him that it's going to be 20 to 25 years before we're going to see real change. And he says, if that's true, I don't know if I could take living in this world that much longer without the changes. And I agree. I mean, if I had to live through another year in 2013, like I have for the past few years with the legal issues that I've had to deal with, and doing the trying to fight a system that doesn't care, doesn't even attempt to do justly. I mean, you've got to force people into a corner to even get them to look at the issues, because all they see is they want control of everybody and all of the resources. And folks, if this doesn't change, and it's coming from the financials, it's coming from the bankers, it's coming from the cabal, and it's a criminal cabal. The Federal Reserve and central banks around the world are criminal cabals. We have to get that through our head. And if that doesn't change, the justice system won't change, the government systems won't change, and we won't have the kingdom of heaven established on earth. We won't be able to attain peace on earth. I get the cries of many, many people, that some of them are in personal emails and some of them are just things that people send me about some of the issues. I mean, I got one yesterday that came that the police came in and took somebody's house that was protected, and the man ended up dying of a heart attack. And the woman was brutally beaten, had lacerations all over her face. These things have to stop. This is the kind of thing. And then another one of my friends posted some things and wants justice for sexual abuse and stuff like that. And oftentimes this is at the hands of people that are high up in society. These are people that hold positions of supposed honor, and they are in dishonor. These things have to change. Then we look at the Connecticut shootings, and somebody just this morning sent me a picture. Why no shootings in Israeli schools? Why? Teachers strap up, and it shows a picture of the teacher with a firearm over her shoulder with all of her kids in front of her. You say, Ron, that's insane. No, it's not insane. It keeps the kids safe. Another one sent me a thing about a video that I had already seen about what happened in Australia after they took the guns away from people. Crime shot up tremendously in 4 different categories. Do I like guns? Do I like to have to live in a weaponized world? No, I want peace. I don't want to live in a weaponized world. I'd like to live in a world that there is no money as we've known money. But money isn't the problem. We can redefine money any way we want. And firearms can be collector's items. We need a change in the human heart. And unless that happens at a broad spectrum of society, we're not going to be able to create our vision of a world that works for everybody and peace on earth, and where we move into cooperation instead of competition. This old paradigm, this old thinking and the status quo are indeed embedded in our culture, and it affects everybody in the world. If people in the United States don't start standing up for their rights collectively and forcing the courts and forcing the police to honor their oaths of office, we're not going to have peace on earth. And as the United States goes, the whole world will go. I promise you that. As the United States goes, the whole world will follow suit. If we don't make the changes here, it's going to be that much harder to make them anywhere else. Because the United States is the biggest meddling country on the face of the earth. We meddle in everybody's business. And at the force of guns. At the force of weaponry. And I say guns, I mean aircraft and battle and missiles and rockets and all sorts of other things that are weaponized. Because we have been, our republic was absconded or was taken over by criminals, a criminal cabal, starting in the 19th century, but becoming more and more entrenched as time passed into the 20th century and remaining in the 21st century as they continue to do these black ops. There's more stuff on the Connecticut shooting that indicates it was a much bigger plan than one deranged young 20-year-old man on psychiatric drugs. It's much bigger than that. It always is. They want to take guns away from people in America. That's the game plan, because that will make America vulnerable to being taken over by the criminals. And keeping America armed is a deterrent to that happening. Do I like it that way? No, I don't. But these are things we have to look at. These financial things where the financial player, the big central banks buy our leaders in government. They control our multinational corporations. They make the laws that protect themselves from all sorts of things that for normal people would be considered criminal and crimes. But they get away with it. They're able to hide it under the carpet because that's the world we live in. And if that doesn't change, nothing else matters. Yes, there will still be people that will find the peace in their heart. There will still be people that will be able to escape as much as possible from the matrix and pretend like it's not going on or out in the world around them or beyond their little comfort zone. There will still be those people, even if it continues. But I've longed for, in my heart, real change that is noticeable. And yes, it does come from a change of heart. It is an internal thing. It is about embracing the shadow, but it doesn't have to take years and years and years and years and years. It just has to take something that will catch people's attention enough to wake up and say, look at this, please look at this. And that's not what has been happening, even with all of the Occupy movements last year and to a lesser extent still going on in places this year, especially in Europe, where the people are taking to the streets in Madrid and in Athens and other places around the world, and what they did, of course, in Iceland and Ireland. There's people standing up. We need to bring the focus into the areas where the wounds are. And the wounds seem to be in the people because they are seemingly victimized. Not seemingly. People are being victimized by their own governments, by their own authority figures. And this is what has to change. The authority figures need to be brought to justice or to repentance or to something that changes that part of it dramatically. Those are the human hearts that need to change. Not that we don't all have to change. I'm not saying that. But the people that are willing to kill others and steal from others to get their own sense of self-aggrandizement and power and self-importance because they're so insane in service to themselves that they can't even see that what they're doing, they're not helping themselves. They're not even serving their own highest interests when they don't serve the interests of everybody else. But they don't see that. They don't recognize that. These are the things that need to change, and I'm trusting that this alignment will bring in the divine feminine energies at a level where our hearts are reached, even the hearts of the psychopaths are reached, so that we can actually bring energies in that will shift things. Because it has to happen in the inner world and the outer world too. If it only happens in the inner world, it doesn't. The world remains unsafe. And where they talk about the move from to the fourth and the fifth dimension, whatever that means, if that means that we become more compassionate and more alive and more aware and more awake, well, then I'm all in favor of it. And I believe that is what it means. I believe that is what it means to ascend. But it has to impact what we've known as 3D reality and some way transform it. That's where we're at as we're on the cusp of this 12/21/2012 date that we've been looking forward to and hearing about for such a long time. I was disappointed last year when it didn't happen on October 28th, 2011. I expected far more changes, but then we had a 10th wave and then 11th and 12th and 13th wave really quickly in one day on the 11/11/11. And yet we've been going over a year since that time, and it doesn't look like we've been doing much more than spinning our wheels. Yet I know things are happening. I do know that. But we need them to be visible changes. They need to take place in the structure of our society. This is what I've been saying. This is the cry of my heart. I want to see the kingdom of heaven established on earth. I want peace for you and me. I want to be secure in my home, in my automobile, wherever I go. I want to be secure. I would like kids not to have to worry about this crazy gunman coming in and killing them. In every school, on every continent, around the world, in every nation. But we're not going to get that until we see where the cancer is. And we need to address the issue of the cancer in our society. And folks, it's at the top of the heap. That's where the cause is. It's the top of the pyramid that has been inverted, and they look at it as being their controllers. That's got to change. People that have leadership positions are to be servants, not authoritarian leaders. That model is not effective, and it's not sustainable. And we need to address this issue, because if we don't, nothing else really will matter on earth. And there may be cataclysm because of it. Anyway, these are the things that were going through my mind over the past couple of days, heavily. And I thank you for listening. Namaste.